Hey, welcome to the Small Business Made Simple podcast, brought to you by socialmediaandmarketing.com.au. Being in business is never easy, but it can be simple, or at least simpler. Join me, your host Jen Donovan, every week where we focus on marketing, social media, and working towards simplifying your business. You with me? Let's do this.
If you're gonna dream it big, 'cause someone out there listening. Everyone's got a voice to give, and it's time I heard you whistling, 'cause there's no point at all, in dreaming small.
Why, hey there, my fabulous listener. Welcome to episode 268 of the Small Business Made Simple podcast. Thank you, as always, for lending me your ears today. I know you have lots of choices out there, and I really do appreciate you making me one of those choices. Unfortunately, a little bit like last week, you're going to have to put up with my croaky, sexy voice because I still haven't made a full recovery. But hopefully, that won't be anything to be concerned about. You know, I can't give gems over a podcast, so all is well. But before we get started, I just wanted to update you on a couple of. So, firstly, my book is at the printers, and 400 copies are coming off the printer, being bound, and being sent to my home soon. It's going to be a very special day when they arrive, that's for sure. And if you follow me on social media, hopefully you'll be hard pressed to miss the yelp of excitement when my 400 books arrive at my doorstep. I'm not quite sure where I'm going to store them all, but anyway, that's a point. That's a problem for future Jen. But I also wanted to, have a bit of a chat about the fact that I'm starting to think about, what my word for 2024 is going to be and what my plans for 2024 are going to be. It's cost me a lot of money to invest in this book, and therefore I need to make sure I get a return on that investment. So I have lots of lists and diagrams and sticky notes everywhere that I really need to get into some sort of order. But I just wanted to say, if you're also starting to think about 2024 and, what it could look like for you and, what you're going to do or what you're not going to do, then you might want to come along to my virtual planning session. Now, for those playing along at home, you might know that I normally do this in January, but I've been asked by quite a few if we can do it before Christmas. So I'll probably still do one in January, but I've decided to pull one off in November as well. So on the 21st of November, which is a Tuesday, from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m., which is New South Wales time, we're going to put our head down, our bums up, and we're going to start thinking about 2024. What do you want to do? What do you not want to do? What's on that list? What's on the plan for you? The cost is only $37 a ticket. And if you want to book a ticket, then go to my website, socialmediaandmarketing.com.au. Scroll down a little bit and you will see the planning day there. Otherwise, come to the show notes at socialmediaandmarketing.com.au/268 and you'll see the link in there as well. And just as a little incentive, the first 5 to book a ticket will get also some one-on-one time with me, just to make sure your plan is achievable and really align with your goal, because that is one of the most important things. So I'd love to see you there on the 21st if you're keen to start thinking about 2024 between now and then. One more thing before we get into today's episode, which is all around networking. I know I had, networking a couple of weeks ago with the amazing Wendy Lloyd Curley, but this week we're just looking at networking slightly different again with the amazing Janine Hunter. So, but before I get in and introduce her and you can hear from her, I just wanted to say again, did you have a listen to last week's episode where I answered 3 Ask Me Anything questions that came out of my like-minded Facebook group. Sorry, like-minded business owners Facebook group. The questions were about uploading blogs for SEO purposes, how to get more engagement on your social media, and also email versus social media. Which one's better? Where should I be spending my time? It was a good episode, so if you didn't get a chance to listen to that one, head back there and have a listen. But as I mentioned, this week I have Janine Hunter on the podcast with me. Janine runs a business called Women in Business Connect. And she's really here to talk to us about connecting with other small business owners. I can't wait to introduce her and for you to get to know her or get to know her a little bit more. She obviously loves networking and she shares how it's actually helped her grow two businesses along the way. And for Janine, networking isn't about selling, it's about being a great connector in her community. It's about showing up and offering value. And I really love her philosophy of everyone knows someone. And that's a perfect way to go into networking. So it's like everyone knows someone who can help somebody do something. Like, who do you know? Who can you introduce other people to? That's what I love so much about this episode. Just Janine's thoughts around networking and how it's helped her grow her business. And I think it's a really great subject to be sort of thinking about as we head into Christmas parties and maybe do a lot more networking than what we usually do in our business. So have a listen, see what you think, connect with Janine. All her links are in the show notes, of course. And I guess here's my chat with Janine. Looking forward to hearing what you think.
Janine, I'm pretty excited to have you on the podcast today because I get to ask you questions this time, which is a little bit different to our interaction so far. So, welcome to my podcast.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here. Long time listener, first time interviewee.
Beautiful. I love that. I love that. So we're coming to talk today about networking, which you are a bit of a queen at and a bit of an advocate for, which is how we've met. Is I've done some talking inside your networking programs that you have. So now, like I say, I get to turn the tide on you and I get to chat to you about networking and ask conversations. But for my amazing listener who may not have come across you before, can you tell us a little bit about who you are and what it is that you do?
Absolutely. My name's Janine Hunter. I'm a bra fitter with Intimo and have been for 10 years, or over 10 years now.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's, I guess, where I started my networking journey. And the other hat that I wear is I am the founder and host of Women in Business Connect Central Coast.
Beautiful. So, you said that's where networking started for you, being involved in Intimo and bra fitting. And if you are a male listening to this, trust me, we are not going down this rabbit hole. We are here to talk about networking, but I just want to get a bit of a sense of, because some people find networking icky and find it really hard to find a network. So what made you kind of go, I can see real value in gathering people together in order to, and I guess one was for bras and one's for business orientated things. So tell us a little bit about how that worked.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, when I started Intimo, so back 10 years ago, Intimo was Party Planned.
Yes.
Yeah, so I got to the point where I'd asked all my friends and family to host a party for me. And I ran out of people and I hated asking people to host a party. That was one thing I could not get over.
Yeah.
So I thought, okay, if I can't get over that, I need to find people another way. So I did a bit of a search on Facebook and found some local networking groups. So I went to a couple. Some resonated with me, some didn't. Some weren't my vibe. But the one that I started with was actually for women in network marketing. And it was exactly where I needed to be at that time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's really good. So it was kind of like you were solving your own problem. You needed more ways to market yourself, I guess, and reaching out and I guess aligning yourself with your people. Like you said, you'd been to a few, and it doesn't mean that they were bad ones. It just meant that wasn't what you were looking for at that particular time.
That's
so
right.
I think that's something to keep in mind when, you look at getting out there and doing more networking and things like that. So I think networking is super powerful. When did you start your networking that you have now, your Business Connect?
Oh, yep, my networking group. Well, that started, I guess, we're about to celebrate our third birthday. So 3 years ago, in the middle of the first lockdown.
Yes.
And It came about, I was dabbling with another networking group and I was hosting their events, but unfortunately that just fell apart for one reason or another. And everyone kept saying, you're such a good listener and leader, just go out on your own. And I'm like, oh, I don't know if I can do this. Do I need something extra? Anyway, Misty Henkel, who is one of my favourite sales trainers, and Jen met her the other week, she really nudged me. She said, you can do it. What are you waiting for? Just jump. Just do it. Just do it. And I did. And she was my very first guest speaker. And so at that time, I had about just under 200 people as members in the group. And these were people that I'd met and, women around the Central Coast, to today being over 1,100 members, which is amazing. Yeah.
Yes, that is amazing. Wow. That's incredible growth in such a small time, which shows the power of networking.
Yep,
Doesn't
that's right.
it? Yeah, it's really is. It's a great marketing strategy, and one that I think, we think of marketing strategies and we think of posting on LinkedIn and posting on Instagram and maybe sending a few emails. But, something like networking is a really great strategy. So what are your tips around networking? Say my listeners kind of like, Jen, networking's not for me. I don't really like networking. Hopefully we'll convince them by the end of this that networking is a good thing. But what are your tips around how do you make networking work from a business point of view?
Absolutely. Well, the first tip is actually show up. You've got to go to the networking events, and usually more than once. More than once. People need to get to know you. And it doesn't always happen on the first meeting. Consistency is key. Just, like everything. Yeah. So that's my very first tip. Show up.
Show up. Love it.
Yep. My second one is, I guess, when you are going to a meeting and you meet some people. Now, you're not going to fall in love with everybody. I mean, that's okay. But there may be some people that you really want to get to know better. And so my tip is to follow up with them. And that can be either an email, a text, a brief message. So it's more than just handing out a business card. You've really got to follow up. So the easiest way is I'll write an email after the event. Hi, I met you at this event today. Absolutely loved it. Say something that you can both resonate with. What do you think of the guest speaker? I thought they were amazing. Something along lines like that. And if you really want to get to know them, ask them for a coffee chat or a Zoom chat, and just say, because to get out of the ickiness, because some people think they just, oh my God, you like me, I want to sell to you. So what I say, and this is a tip from Misty Henkel, which is brilliant, is I'd love to know more about you and your business so I can refer you onto my clients or friends. And that way, isn't that a good tip?
Yeah, that is a good tip. Yes.
Gets that little bit of ickiness out of it.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Just, you're not making it about you. You're not making it about them. It's kind of like, let's just have a bit of a chat because there could be some synergies between us. So I love that. Just say, for instance, you met someone at a networking event, you followed them up. Maybe that follow-up fell a little bit flat or something like that. Do you keep pursuing? Do you kind of send a second follow-up, or do you just wait for the next round of networking, say it's monthly, and try and catch them there? Like, I think that is kind of also where people are like, well, when do you think that isn't a follow-up anymore?
Yeah, that's really good. Depending on the person. So I guess with my bra fitting business, I'd probably tend to follow up with the women. Particularly if they go, oh my God, I need a new bra, then I might follow up again. If I don't, I will go back to the meeting again and go, oh my God, did you get my email? You said you wanted a new bra. I just wanted to get in touch. When's a good
Yeah.
time to get in touch with you? Because we're all busy. We're all busy with our
Yes.
business. And
Yes.
sometimes it's not that they don't want to network with you or get in contact with you. Sometimes it's just busy. They forget. I mean, how
Yeah.
many times do you get a text message, you look at it, think I'll respond to that later, and then don't?
Yeah. Yeah. I think my poor sister just doesn't like me anymore. She's like, can you ever answer your text messages, girl? I'm like, yeah, I do in my head all the time. Just forget to actually type it out. So,
Mhm, that's
yes,
right.
no, absolutely. And I think that is such a great tip for networking in that everyone is busy. So, no's a no, but silence isn't necessarily a no. Maybe
Yep,
it's
absolutely.
they're following up with their leads, and maybe you weren't one of their leads for whatever reason that might be.
So true.
Yeah. So yes, put some humanness in it, I guess, and think to
Yes,
yourself, this person's probably really busy. Look, if you get to the networking thing and they run a mile, then maybe you kind
that's
of
right.
need to take that message as well.
Yep, yep.
Yeah. So, but of course, networking isn't just about finding people to do business with. Sometimes I've found some really great collaborators and really great people to do partnerships with as well. And sort of, I guess, people who've got my audience that aren't necessarily my competition, they're always amazing people to find at networking events as well.
Oh, that is so true. That is so true. Actually, this morning I had a bra fitting client. Now, I met this lady through an online networking group, and
Hmm.
she owns a gym in Tamworth,
Hmm.
which is far away from me. But we got chatting, and I told her that I offer online bra fittings. And she's like, oh my God, could you do them for my clients? And I'm like, yeah, I could. So every couple of months, she'll put a little notice in her gym saying, Janine's available for online fittings. And yeah, and we will get together with her clients. And of course, I'm going to get into bras now, but yes, sports bras very important for someone who's gymming and who's doing some exercise. So I guess working together like that is helping her
Mm.
clients. She's doing that extra bit for her clients, and I'm also doing something for my business.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's such a great example. Similar
Mm,
audience, but definitely not competitors. So yeah, that's a great
mm,
one.
yeah.
We talk about following up with value. We talk about, going into these networking events, to give value so that we don't come off salesy. What's your thoughts around value, I guess? What value do you take to a networking event, or do you offer value afterwards? What does that look like?
Absolutely. Um, for me, I don't go in with a mindset to sell.
Hmm.
I go into who can I meet, who can I find that I can introduce, who I can, um, assist their business with
Hmm.
somebody I know. I don't think I articulated that right, but yeah, who can I introduce them to? Who
Yeah.
do I know that needs your service?
Yeah.
Whether it be you're chatting to your friend about, if they need marketing. Oh my God, I met Jen the other day on a networking group and she is amazing. I want to introduce you to her because she's so good at marketing. It's easy like
Thanks.
that. Yeah. So that's offering, yeah. So that's offering value. It's not just all about you. It's you want to bring your network to their network. You know, everybody knows someone. And
Yes, we all do. And sometimes it's in the conversation that that person comes to your mind, like, oh my God, I was just having this conversation the other day. I know the perfect person to talk to, et cetera, et cetera. So you're in a networking event. Just a
yep.
couple of quick fire questions, I guess. What are you seeing as far as transfer of information goes? So business cards, are people still doing business cards? Are people got some pretty tricky electronic ways of exchanging information now? Like, what are you seeing out there in the networking sphere as far as connecting goes?
You know what? Business cards is always really number one. They still work.
Yes,
They
I
still
still
work.
think they do. They're not very environmentally friendly, I know, because we're printing and things like that, but I still think they hold so much value.
They do. They do. I have a pile on my desk that I look at every now and then and
Yeah,
just, yeah, it's there at hand. It's on my desk. They sit
yeah.
there.
Mhm,
Um, yes, people do digital business cards. They're
mhm.
okay. The
Yeah.
other great way is, and something that I get my women to do when we're networking, particularly face to face, take a selfie with someone. Take a selfie, stick it onto their Facebook page, whether they're personal or their business, whatever they prefer. Oh my God, I just met, or put it on your own. Oh my God, I just met so and so from this business. She's amazing. You need to know her.
Mm, yeah.
That is really powerful.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Certainly, an Instagram story or something like that.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
no, great value in that. Yes.
Mm.
Yeah. At a networking event, are you better off to be the talker or the listener?
Ooh. Well, that is tricky. Both. Tell you what,
Okay.
if you now, some people are really scared to go to networking events because
Mhm,
it's really hard to put yourself out there sometimes.
mm.
And, sometimes you might have a bit of anxiety. If that's the case, be a listener. Be a listener until you are ready to be a guest speaker.
Yep.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that
Yeah.
is my tip. But yeah, be both. Jump
Yeah.
up. And, it doesn't matter if I get up and talk about bras. With men in the room, it does not matter because they will know a woman who has complained about her bra.
Yeah, they possibly
Yep.
will. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm sure that my listeners heard my networking stories before, but I used to, networking was never something that I liked to do. It was always something that I tried very hard to get out of. But when I pushed myself, obviously I know the power of networking, and I'm a
Mm,
strong believer that your net worth is very relative to your network that you
that's
have
right.
around you. But I used to do things like the name tags at the start. If the person running it would look like they were ragged, I'm like, how about I help you with the name tags and I'll hand out the name tags. Great way of,
Yes.
interrupting conversations or introducing yourself to someone. Occasionally I would get the food and I would pass around the food. Like there was a heap of food and no one was really eating it. And so great way to butt into conversations. Would you like something type of thing, of being, great way to start a conversation with someone or something like that. So there was all these little ways that I found to help me, I guess, realize the power of marketing and get over my shyness. I don't know whether I'd ever call it shyness. I just wasn't
Mm,
comfortable
yeah.
talking to people that I didn't know and having that question of, so what do you do? I'm just like, oh, I don't know what I do. And even now, I kind of sometimes stumble over what it is that I do because
Right.
we know what we do, but when we have
Yeah.
to articulate it. So my recommendation is, if you're going to a networking event, whether it be online or offline, practice that line. So what do you do? Like have the words in your
Mm,
head so you don't stumble over them. Or if you do, that's okay as well.
that's
No one's
okay.
really going to care. No. I did like the way that, and I'm assuming there is some sort of a bit of a script that you have created, because when I was in your networking, online networking group not so long ago, it was kind of like put your details in the chat so everyone can see them, but they seem to have a
Yep,
bit of a formula
they do.
going. Yes. So are you
They
willing to
do.
share what that might be?
um, so most of them know. So I guess if you're doing an online one, you use the chat box as a business card. That's
Yes.
all you do. So what have you got on your business card? Your name, sometimes your title, your business, your email, your phone number. But then you can also add things a little bit extra. So I would put in, do you need a bra fitting? Here is the link to my calendar. Something
Mhm.
like that. Just a little bit extra. Yeah, some of the women might put a link to a course they've got
Mhm.
coming up. Just something a little bit extra. So what I recommend is like your business card and then just add something else.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm assuming that because they do a little bit of online networking, they have this saved somewhere. So they're
Yes,
literally cutting
yes,
and pasting.
exactly.
Yeah, and
Yes,
keeping it
yes, yes,
simple.
yes. So I do
Mm,
tell everyone, you're right. So when I email them the Zoom link for the event, I'll say, go into Word now, pop all your details in, save it, cut and paste, and then put it in there. And that saves you a little bit of time at your networking meeting because it's hard to listen and type at the same time.
yeah.
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 So that is my little tip for your online networking. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Great. So let's flick the switch just a little bit or flip the
Hmm.
pancake over a little bit. Say someone's listening to this and they're like, there's not really a networking anything around me, but they're keen to maybe look at how they could start something up, whether that be online or offline. What would be your biggest tip to give to someone who perhaps wanted to start and be the host of a networking thing because it just doesn't exist where they are?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, I would say do it because
Yeah.
just jump in and do it to start with because it really made a difference with my business, like
Mhm,
people getting to know you. Um, but I guess I targeted women,
mhm.
particularly women in small business, because one, that was me.
Yes.
And like attracts like. And yeah, that's how it started. So, whether, yeah, it's just, I can't even think. Just, yeah, as I said, like attracts like. I wanted women that I could talk with and support. And yep, I've been on the same journey as you. So I
Yeah.
guess that's how I started it. So yeah, find people with similar interests. Start with just a coffee chat once a month on a Tuesday
Mhm.
morning. Let's meet at this cafe.
Yeah.
And you know what? And get the cafe owner into it as well. you know, bring them on board.
Mhm.
Yeah, just start with small chats, small coffees online. And yeah, I mean, mine has gotten so much bigger now that, things are different and we're bigger and we've got venues and we need to pay them as well. But yeah, start small and
Mhm.
they will come.
Yeah,
It
I
will
like
happen.
that because, some people would look at you and go, "Oh, yeah, but I can't get 1,000 people together." It's just like, well, that's like, you started with one,
Yep.
possibly.
Yep.
We all start with that one. So, yeah, if you can see some value of networking, but there's nothing around you, start something up or join something online that
Yes.
already exists. I think COVID has made us borderless when it comes
Hmm.
to networking, and I think
Yep.
yourself, you do it so well online and your members really appreciate that. And there's, some other brilliant ones that are all online. And I think that's really important to know that you can still have that interaction. You might only know them from the shoulders up, but yeah, you can certainly still get, some amazing clients, amazing leads, and give some great value online for sure. Mm. And
Yep.
you're a perfect example of that.
Yes. Yep. I just love it. So my clients are all over Australia now, not just on the Central
Yeah,
Coast.
that's amazing.
Mm.
Amazing. Janine, this has been such a great chat. I love that your passion for networking, and I love your story of how you started and how things are going for you now. What's next? What's the
Oh
next
my
thing?
God. Oh my God. Well, what's next? Well, oh, I don't know. Well, I do know. Our I just love my networking group so much. So as I said, we're celebrating our third birthday,
Whoa.
and yeah, and we are going to have a lovely lunch, and we're going to have an awards lunch, and that was really
Ah,
something. Yeah, that's so good. And all the nominees have been nominated by their peers, so within the group, which I love. And it means that if you were nominated, you've been networking because people know your name.
yeah, there's a reward just to start with,
Yes.
no matter what happens with the awards.
Hmm.
So
That's
that's so
right.
good. It's great. Oh, well, we'll have to all watch out for that. If someone's listening and they want to get in contact or want to learn a little bit more about your networking, where's the best place to send them?
Oh, Instagram or Facebook, Women in Business Connect Central Coast. and bra fitting fitted by Janine Hunter.
Ah, beautiful. I will get those links off Janine and, of course, put them in the show notes so that you can just go to the show notes and click them there as well. But, I'm pretty sure you could go to those platforms and just type those in as well. Thank you so much for coming on and chatting, networking with us. Hopefully, my listener has now got a bit of a nudge to do some more networking in their life as well.
Absolutely. Just do it. Just do it. Jump.
Beautiful. Love it. Thank you so much, Janine.
Thank you, Jan.
I really hope you enjoyed that chat with Janine. Janine is a perfect example of being an action taker and just doing something, perhaps without entirely knowing the vision or where it's going to take her, but being brave enough to take that leap. I have to say, Janine is my kind of business owner. I love an action taker. As mentioned earlier, all the links to Janine's socials can be found in the show notes at socialmediaandmarketing.com.au/268. But that's it. That's it for another episode. If you love it, if you found it valuable, and you can leave a rating and review where you're listening, please do that. I would absolutely love that. It really warms my heart when I see ratings and reviews. And also, it helps this podcast get found a little bit more as well. Yeah, like I said, that's it. So I'll see you on next week's episode for 269. There's only 7 episodes to go for the rest of 2023. That's a bit of a yikes sort of moment, isn't it? Anyway, I've got some great episodes coming up. So stick with me for the next 7 at least. In the meantime, if we're not hanging out on social, let's get social on social. You can find me on all the platforms as Jen Donovan. But whatever you do, remember my small business peep. As my opening song says, there is no point in dreaming small.
No time like the present. Tell it like you feel it, say it proud, be true, and let us see you for the star that you are. No point in dreaming small.
I would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land, the Yorta Yorta people, on which I record this podcast and conduct my business today, and pay my respects to their elders, past and present. I extend this respect to the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people here with us today as well.